So originally, how do you feel about English?
I don't really enjoy English.
You hate
I
English?
don't enjoy English, but ever since I came into Miss Walsh class, I can't
No, okay, but what's the one thing that you...
Seniors, and we are counting down. So today we'll be talking about how to make English engaging. I teach texts such as Beowulf, Hamlet, but this year I added in 2 new ones, Frankenstein and Fences. So we'll be talking about how to make English engaging. I believe that students excel when they are passionate about the story, when they know what's going on, and they know how it connects to them in the world around them. So stay tuned.
So, tell me what's different. What do you feel?
Engaging artistic assignment.
So you like drawing?
Yeah, it's very entertaining. It's better than reading and writing all the time.
What about like walking around the class?
Yeah, like scavenger hunts with articles.
That sounds so fun.
So boom, tip 1 is to make the introduction to the story engaging. I love, and the students love, when I have them do debates. So remember when we would start a story, think back, you had something called an anticipation guide. So it was like questions that you would have and answers. You know, it would be like, okay, have you ever been in a situation that blank? Kids love when I have those questions and I put them on the board.
And so it may be one like, have you ever been someone who had to go through a family divorce, right? So then he has to go one side, you have to go to another side. And we get into those kind of conversations that allow them
to connect to the theme before they know what the story is. Can I show you guys some examples? So especially with COVID, I love to use the Nearpod platform or quizzes because it allows students to do an anonymous poll, where they can vote according to the question. So this one says, people judge you on your looks more than your character. So, if I was a student, I would click yes or no. Then in the front of the room, it'll have like percentage of the class said yes, percent of the class said no. Then I'll say, so-and-so, little Johnny, why do you think people judge us more on looks than character? So these questions were introducing the thematic elements of Frankenstein. I think this next one says, yes, society treats people with disabilities better than others, so then they would vote. I think beginning any lesson, especially a text that's a heavy text, with the themes before you even tell them a story you're doing, allows them to connect. So then after I've gone through these, polls, I've let them discuss or have a healthy debate and argument. Now I'll say, okay, this is how disabilities and looks and appearances, those themes, can be found in our story that will begin. This is how parenting is shown in this story. So now they're already hyped, they're already invested, and they'll say, okay, let me see how we'll see this in this text. Okay, tip 2. Tip 2 is allowing them to compete and critically think together. A big one that we did was the court scene. Oh, I got into it so cheesy. I put on this Judge Judy song. I walked in the room and I said, court is now in session. So if we know the story of Frankenstein, if you don't know, just go with it. Chapter 10 is the scene where the monster ends up killing one of the family members of the scientist, and he pins the murder on another person. So for homework, I told them everyone needs to be reading this chapter at home. Everyone needs to read chapter 10. When you come tomorrow, you'll be able to use the skills you read in chapter 10. Now, do you think everyone read the chapter? So they walk and they're like, right? I added roles. So there was a policeman, there was investigators, there were witnesses, there was one lawyer, and a prep team. Okay, so they walked in and they had to figure out the crime scene. What did the police find at the station? How does this link to the suspect? What is the lawyer going to ask the witnesses to prove that that suspect is guilty or not guilty. Now, if you read the chapter, you would have known how the story ended. So if you're someone who didn't read, you're walking in like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in this group. But it allows them to critically think together. I actually had this as a summative or a big grade because they had different roles. So the story already told us what artifacts were found. So I had them pretend they were police that found those artifacts. You know, the story already told us how this linked to the accuser. And they loved it, and you'll see clips soon. The kids loved it. They got into it. They played the witness. They played lawyer.
I'm Bestie Pooh. Oh, I'm Bestie Pooh. Boo. Boo. I'm Bestie Pooh. Promise.
Things like that where students get to work together and think together allow them to be more engaged, because now they're like, I'm a leader, I can help us. Or, you know, they can show that they understand text, you know, they can walk around and help each other. It allows them to choose how engaged they want to be. Are they someone that just wants to write? Are they someone that wants to speak? So anything that allows students to compete healthily, that allows students to work together, especially with COVID going on. Kids are longing to talk. They're longing to work together and not be in a chat room on Zoom. Is tip 3. Now tip 3, to always add art, always. If you need to go to the dollar store and get you some color pencils, if you need to go get you some markers, get them, because students will do well. Now for us younger teachers, we still have some of that practicum vocabulary in our head, such as kinesthetic learners or hands-on learners will always benefit from having at least one activity that allows them to draw. I like doing this at the beginning of lessons because they don't know the characters yet. I haven't shown them videos yet, so allowing them to draw how the character looks based on what the text says allows them to make those connections. A lot of the texts that we do are older English or a lot of, I would say, hard verbiage. So when they have to actually go and Google what does uncouth mean, or, you know, with deranged eyes, now they can Google those things and depict it based on what the word says. So if you made it this far, you're here for the best part. My last tip is to always add media. Make it connect to today. I did this twice in this story and the kids loved it. I did it with they were connecting the monster in Frankenstein to Shrek or the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, or a show that I don't watch, but it's called Lucifer. So in that, they had to compare the themes. So if they did Lucifer, how can they compare creation trying to overrule the creator? If they did Shrek, how did appearance and looks affect the theme in the movie Shrek, and compare it to how we saw that in the novel Frankenstein. Same thing for the Beauty and the Beast. How did the longing for love affect this monster in Frankenstein and the Beast from Beauty and the Beast? The kids enjoyed drawing those connections, and they were very engrossed in the activity, especially even some of my ESOL students. I found out, I guess Shrek is more comical in Spanish, and so they were able to compare how these characters looked. You know, let's compare and contrast how they fulfilled that theme in their text or video. And then they had to find 3 quotes from the story Frankenstein that the character could empathize with, so that Shrek could empathize with, that the Beast from Beauty and the Beast could empathize with, that Lucifer from that show could empathize with. And they enjoyed seeing how, oh, English is the thing that bridges everything together. Look at all these connections, Ms. Walters. That is a way to heighten engagement in English. how is this text seen in everyday movies? How do we see this in cartoons? How do we see these relationships in a day-to-day? Kids feel connected to it emotionally, ensuring that they feel connected to it through what they create, ensuring that you allow them to collaborate and compete and work together in this text, and then seeing how it connects to their everyday life. Media will definitely help and add value to English and how they use it in the classroom. So that was Frankenstein, making English engaging.
What I like about your class is that how you express your positivity and you spread out around the whole class, which helps me when I'm having a bad day.
Oh, energy.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of energy to go through what you're going through, and everyone is so cool with each other in the classroom, and it's really nice.